Good evening. Basically, we are going to study about Coriolis Force today, and Coriolis Force means a force exerted on atmospheric circulation by the rotation of the Earth, because of the rotation of the Earth. We study this because it affects our atmospheric circulation. Basically, we know that air moves from high pressure to low pressure region because of pressure gradient. This is like if this is an isobar line of 120 pressure millibar, and this is a line made by joining the points of or region of pressure 110. Let us say that the region was 110 was equator, because on equator there is low pressure because of intense insolation, and let's say that the pressure region of 120 millibar is 30 degree latitude, because 30-degree latitude, had the cell formation, the condensation process, and the convergence of all the air from temperate, from the Ferrous cell and Hadley cell. These converge at this point. So because of that, the 30-degree or tropical region is a bit more higher pressurized, higher region of high pressure, right? So what it should have look like, it should have been the actual wind circulation should have been in this manner. The air should have moved in this way, like perpendicular to the isobar line. It actually moves perpendicular to the isobar line. From a region of higher pressure to a lower pressure, the air always travels the shortest distance, and the shortest distance, as we all know, is perpendicular distance. But what we observe while looking at the air circulation in between 30-degree and equator, we see that the air bends towards its right in the northern hemisphere. Okay, 30-degree north and equator. Equator is always the middle part, no north, no south. So it should have moved in this way, but it does not move in this way. In fact, it bends towards its right. And how does it happen? Well, now let's move to this part. Let's say this is our Earth. There are 4 persons sitting on different places. Let's say A, B, C, and D. A is sitting on the poles. B is sitting on the temperate circle, or you can say Arctic circle, which is on 60-degree north. Okay, and this one is Tropic of Cancer. Let's say 23-degree north. Let's say 30-degree. It's not Tropic of Cancer. Let's assume that Tropic of Cancer is on 30-degree for naming it, just that for that purpose only. Now, if we and the D is standing on the equator. Now, the air we observe on the Earth circulates completely into 24 hours. Let's say D have to travel a distance of x kilometers, the circumference of the Earth, which is the equatorial latitude. Let's say x is 13 kilometer or something, like x is x kilometer, and the C travels y kilometers, B travels z kilometers, and A travels 0 kilometers, because it was at the same place 24 hours earlier where it is now. So it did not travel a single meter. That's why the speed of A is 0. B's speed is z by 24. C's speed is y by 24, what we have taken, and D's speed is x by 24. And we can observe that the radius of the equator is far larger than the radius of Tropic of Cancer, in this case 30-degree latitude. And if you compare these two circles, you will observe that the speed of B is far more than the speed of C. So what does this mean? This basically means that the air in this latitude, in the latitude of tropical region, the air in the tropical region moves slower than the air at the equator. So if I was, let's say the air at 30-degree latitude was moving at the speed of 20 kilometer per hour with the earth, okay, 20 kilometer per hour, because the let us first of all, let me tell you what I want to do. This is our earth, right? And this is our equator. This is our equator. This is our 30-degree latitude. Okay. Now what I want to convey is that, let us suppose there is no any pressure gradient on earth. Everywhere the pressure is same. Okay. Now the pressure at this point is same, this point is same. So this air, because of gravitational force, is stick to the earth, because the atmosphere is present because of gravitational force, right? So the gravity will make or stay in contact with the air. The earth will stay in contact with the air, and the air will stay in contact with the earth. Like, let us suppose this particle is air and this is our latitude. So when the earth rotates around its axis, the air molecules with this rotates as well with the speed of the earth. Like, the particle at the 30-degree latitude will have a speed of, let's say, 20 kilometer per hour. 20 kilometer per hour. Okay. And the equator will have more than this, will have more speed than this. So let's say it has 30 kilometer per hour. Now this speed will rotate with the earth itself. So the particle or the air at 30-degree latitude will move at the speed of 20 km per hour with the earth, not apart from the earth. It is not separated from the earth. Please understand, this air is not separated from the earth. The air moves with the earth at the same speed as the earth below the air. But when pressure gradient occurs, like pressure difference occurs, there the pressure on the 30-degree latitude is around 120 bars, and the pressure at equator be 110 because of insolation. The pressure at the equator is lower than the other regions, right? So because of this, the air will move from high pressure region to low pressure region. And how does air move? The air is in contact with the earth still, till now as well. The air is in contact with the earth, so the air will move with the air at the 30-degree latitude will move with the speed of 20 km per hour. Like, this is going to move with the speed of 20 km per hour, and also this is going downwards. Like, the movement of the air is going to be felt. Like, I'm going to erase this. The movement of air. ये यहाँ पे थी एयर, ये अपना ए पॉइंट बी पे ऐसे मिला। तो चलो एक, अब एयर मूव करेगी यहाँ से नीचे की तरफ। ऑफ कोर्स आइसोबार लाइन के परपेंडिकुलर मूवमेंट होता है हाई प्रेशर टू लो प्रेशर। लेकिन अब हम जो मैजिक अकर्स कहाँ अकर करता है, यहाँ। तो मैजिक अकर्स हियर, जब अर्थ मूव करेगी, मतलब एयर मूव करेगी अर्थ पर, तो ये जो सर्कमफेरेंस थी इसको ये 24 घंटे में करती थी, मतलब 20 किलोमीटर पर आवर की स्पीड से। 20 किलोमीटर पर आवर की स्पीड से ये इतना डिस्टेंस ट्रेवल कर लेती थी 24 घंटे में। क्या यही एयर, क्योंकि एयर की स्पीड फिक्स है, जो ये वाली स्पीड है, ये वाली स्पीड नहीं, ये वाली डिपेंड करती है प्रेशर ग्रेडियंट पे। दो मैग्नेटिक पोल्स जितने स्ट्रॉन्ग होंगे उतने ही बढ़िया तरीके से उनके बीच में मैग्नेटिक फील्ड लाइंस स्ट्रॉन्ग होगी, राइट। सो जितना ज़्यादा प्रेशर ग्रेडियंट होगा, जितना ज़्यादा दोनों के बीच में डिफरेंस होगा, पोटेंशियल डिफरेंस या फिर प्रेशर ग्रेडियंट जो भी आप कह सकते हो, उतना ही बढ़िया तरीके से इसकी स्पीड बढ़ती जाएगी। अगर प्रेशर डिफरेंस ज़्यादा होगा तो प्रेशर डिफरेंस ज़्यादा होने की वजह से जो स्पीड है वेंट की वो बढ़ती जाएगी। लेकिन यहाँ पे दो स्पीड काम करती है, एक तो ये वाली स्पीड जो अर्थ के साथ में रोटेट कर रही है, ये दूसरी स्पीड ये वाली जो अपन हाई प्रेशर टू लो प्रेशर की तरफ मूव करते हैं, वो वाली। तो इसमें क्या होता है, ये वाली स्पीड तो 20 किलोमीटर पर आवर है, तो ये एयर यहाँ पर भी 20 किलोमीटर पर आवर की स्पीड से चलेगी, और ये वाली एयर यहाँ पर भी आएगी तब भी 20 किलोमीटर पर आवर की स्पीड से चलेगी। अब यहाँ पे देखना होगी, जब ये एयर नीचे की तरफ आएगी, कहाँ पे आएगी, नीचे की तरफ, तो मान लो कि इसको यहाँ पे आने में पूरा का पूरा एक सर्कल लग गया, मान रहे हैं। तो ये यहाँ पे आने के बाद में मान लो ये वाली एयर यहाँ पे होती, तो ये 20 किलोमीटर स्पीड से चलती, तो ये कुछ किलोमीटर 20 × 24 किलोमीटर कवर करती। लेकिन जो बी मतलब ये वाला जो पॉइंट है इक्वेटर वाला, इसकी सरकमफेरेंस कितनी थी, सरकमफेरेंस का मतलब ये होगा कि ये 30 किलोमीटर पर आवर की स्पीड से चल रही थी ना, और 24 घंटे के लिए चल रही थी, सही बात है। तो 24 × 30 कितना होता है, 24 × 30 = 72। So this distance is 72, but the distance traveled by this air which moved from the Tropic of Cancer to the equator is what, 20 × 24, the distance covered will be 48 kilometers. So this air will reach up to this level only, this will not reach this. So if we make a diagram, the air will show this type of movement. Basically, let's understand. Let us suppose that there were these much particles, air particles. These are. Now every single particle is moving around Earth, and the speed of each particle towards the equator as we move down is increasing. So after 1 second, this particle will be here, this particle will be a bit more towards here, and this particle will be ahead of the upper particle, and so on. If we look at this particle B would be here, right, and so on if we continue this process. This particle is moving towards the right and moving towards the downward direction as well. So let us suppose after some time t it reaches here, and when it reaches here, the particle B would be here, right, ahead of this point. And this, if we because we, the observer who is observing the air circulation, is moving with the earth too, with the air. So when we observe this phenomenon, because the latitude at A and the coordinate at A and B does not change, the only air is changing its direction. So the India was here, so it will always remain here on the earth, not taking in, not including the concepts of plate tectonics and other many factors. Just assuming that the India was here, so India will be here for the next 100 years, for the next 10 years, for even next 10 months, in fact. So India was here, so here it will remain. So it was A initially, and it was B initially. After some time t, when the air molecules of A reaches air molecules of B, The air molecules of Tropic of Cancer reaches down to the air molecules of equator. We will observe or we will find that because of low speed of A, the particle of air, the particle of A air were left behind the particles of the local latitudes, and the particles of air will go beyond like this. We are just taking in contact, we are just taking this figure only. Joining the AB, we get this line, and if we now look at the point where A was initially and where A got final, we will observe that the air, because of low wind speed, lags behind. So it was all about this concept. Similarly, this will, while moving towards the equator, this the bending while moving towards the equator. In the northern hemisphere, the air will move towards the right, while moving towards the equator in the southern hemisphere, the air will move towards the left. Whether we are moving towards the equator or whether we are moving away from the equator, the air in the southern hemisphere moves towards its left, and we are in the northern hemisphere, and because we are always right, so the air in the northern hemisphere always moves towards its right, whether moving towards the equator or whether moving away from the equator. If you move away from the equator, we will observe that the speed of particle at 30-degree latitude was far higher than the speed of particles at 60-degree latitude. Particles of what? Particles of air only. We are considering air only. So the particle speed of air at 30-degree latitude is higher than this. So this diagram will be reversed. This time the particle which is moving from A has higher speed. So after t times second, it will be here, and the particle which was above just the equator, which was just above the equator, or which was just above this 30-degree latitude, would be here, and this particle would be here, and after some time t second, it would be here, and the particle above the layer would be here, and so on. We will calculate that this particle is here, and this particle have reached only up to this distance. So the particle of air at 30-degree latitude should have reached to this place by perpendicular motion because of pressure gradient, but it does not reach there because of what? Because of higher speed towards the equator, because of the increasing speed towards the equator, because it low latitude air molecules have higher speed than higher latitude air molecules. Because of what? Because of the contact in air, because of contact with the earth, the particle have to move with the speed of the earth, and because of that thing, the particles have to cover different amounts of distance, right? The circles get smaller and smaller as we move towards the poles from the equator, and if you move from the poles to the equator, the circle enlarges, gets enlarged every single time, and because of that, the speed increase. The speed of the molecules have to increase because of being in contact with the earth. So it was all about Coriolis Force. It was all meant to be understood, the basic concept. Actually, it was not that hard. Once you understand how the earth air rotates, the air is in contact with the earth, the air rotates with the earth, okay, and because of that, the air on the earth has to cope up with the speed of the earth. Like every particle on the equator have to move with the speed of land below the air molecules on the earth. Like any point on the equator have to cover the whole distance of the equator periphery in 24 hours, and every particle on the north pole have to cover a distance of 0 kilometer in every 24 hours. The air molecules or air particles at the north pole also have to cover 0 kilometer in 24 hours, whereas the air molecules, because of in contact because being in contact with the equator or the earth at the equator, have to completely circulate the earth uh, in 24 hours. So this thing, which is the air moves with the earth, is the main concept behind Coriolis Force. I hope you guys have understood this concept. We'll meet in the later discussions, which would be beneficial for you as well as me. Thank you. Have a good day.